Puss in Boots, from a French folk tale retold by Nadia Skolnitsky, illustrated by Denver Wagner. Marcus of Carabas was a poor peasant who lived in a small hut by the river. Every day he watched the boats go by. Rich nobles travelled on some of these boats. Oh, how I would like to be a great noble, Marcus wished. I would own ships full of gold and jewels and sail on the river whenever I wanted. One night, a fierce thunderstorm woke Marcus. He jumped out of bed to close the windows. He looked out at the river and spotted a boat being tossed by the waves. He heard a yowling cry. Marcus grabbed a long rope and raced to the water's edge. Marcus tied one end of the rope around a tree. He then threw the other end as far as he could into the swirling waters. "Grab on!" Marcus cried. "I'll pull you to safety." When he pulled the rope back to shore, clinging to it was a sopping, wet cat. Marcus carried the battered cat to his hut and placed him on a blanket in front of the fire.
"Kind sir," the cat said, "I am called Puss. If you had not rescued me, I would be at the bottom of the river. Fate has brought us together."
Then, exhausted, the cat fell asleep. The next day, the cat said,
"I would like to repay you for saving me. I will need a new hat and boots. Then I will make us rich."
Marcus used all of his money to buy the cat a wide-brimmed, feathered hat and soft leather boots. Once dressed, the cat looked very much like a swashbuckling pirate.
"I shall return,"
Puss cried. He made his way to the water's edge, gathering flowers along the way. He arranged the flowers into a colourful bouquet. Then, using his claws, he cut reeds and wove them into a raft. Finally, Puss used rope to tie 2 swans to his raft. Puss set sail and carefully steered his small raft past the royal barge. The cat, in his boots and fancy hat, charmed the princess.
"Brave traveller," she called out,
"who are you?"
"I am the servant of Count Marcus,"
Puss replied with a bow.
"He told me to deliver these flowers and invite you to dine with him tomorrow."
"I do not believe I know Count Marcus," the princess replied.
"He is the hero who defeated the evil ogre," the cat said. "He is among the wealthiest of men, and, if I may add, quite handsome too."
"Yes, I will dine with him," the princess said. The next day, Puss went to see the evil ogre, who was very much alive. As he travelled toward the ogre's castle, Puss said the same thing to every person he passed.
"The great Count Marcus has defeated the ogre," he said. "He is now the master of the ogre's land and all of his possessions."
Once inside the ogre's castle, Puss fearlessly walked up to the ogre.
"I am Puss," he said to the ogre. "I've travelled the world in search of its greatest wonders. I've come to see if the legend about your magic is true. Can you really change yourself into the king of the jungle?"
"Yes, I can,"
the ogre said proudly. With a roar, he transformed himself into a giant lion.
"Oh, great!" Puss replied. "What other spectacular creatures can you become?"
With a laugh, the ogre changed into an elephant, a rhinoceros, and a powerful bull. Puss hid behind his hat, pretending to be afraid.
"Oh, wondrous magician," Puss said. "Can you turn yourself into something less terrifying? Or is your power limited to only large creatures?"
"My power has no limits,"
the ogre roared. He turned himself into a tiny field mouse. Puss immediately gobbled up the small creature. That evening, the princess's carriage travelled through the countryside. Every person she met talked about Count Marcus's heroic defeat of the ogre. They spoke of his great wealth and even his good looks. Marcus won the princess's heart, and Puss kept his promise. Both he and Marcus of Carabas were rich and comfortable for the rest of their days.